So is this the first musical production you guys have put on?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's the first musical we've ever written,
Oh, yeah.
and we wrote it together.
Yeah. It's good times.
So how long was that in the making?
We started writing it last summer, and so I guess like it was a good 4-month process,
Mm-hmm.
a little longer than
Yeah,
that.
we had the idea the summer before to write the
Mhm.
musical, and then
Actually did it this past summer.
How much of this production is rooted in personal experience, rooted being
Yeah, it's totally, I mean, the idea for it was inspired by our lives and our friends and what we've gone through over the past, I don't know, 3-4 years.
yeah.
And yours?
Yeah, it's just the university experience and what we've learned and what we would hope people coming through would have as a way to interpret their own experience and make it better and choose more than the kind of life that's handed to you, right? Just the idea of just finishing university, getting a job, getting a house, and growing old, hoping your kids do the same thing. It's kind
Trying to think critically about that and
Mhm.
present it critically.
So what are the main messages of the musical?
People keep asking us that. As the title, Rooted, it's about being rooted in your community, in your friends, and in the earth and in the environment that you're in. And there's a lot of themes of being very appreciative of the privilege that we have as students, and not just disregarding that and doing nothing with it, because we're really lucky to be able to go to university and have these opportunities, but also the different position that it places us in society. We still need to participate in our community, you know.
What about the musical as a form makes it good for communicating that sort of a message?
Well, songs, I think everything is better when they're singing and dancing, and it's a lot more fun. For me personally, I'm like a crusader for the musical, because I think a lot of people see one bad musical and then they think all musicals suck, and that's like watching Gigli and being like, I don't like movies, you know.
Yeah.
And the music is really beautiful, and Richard can attest to
it's
that.
very character driven, so it becomes very relatable, right? The people are very much like students, and I think the song is very emotional, and each person can tap into that, right?
Yeah. You actually mentioned before, I was going to ask you, you were talking about the privilege we have as students. You want to expand on that a bit, I guess?
Sure. For me, coming to Laurier and going through the whole university experience, there's people who walk into first year and are really excited to go to university, and there are a lot of students who are here because that's what you're supposed to do out of high school. You get pushed from high school just to go to university. Your parents push you to go to university. Maybe it's not for you, but either way, you can still gain a lot from the experience. And I think the biggest problem I see is that people are blind to the privilege of going to university. So we really want to bring that to the forefront, and that you should maybe first of all be appreciative of it, and then maybe try and do something with it that's good for the world.
Yeah. Well, what's the significance of the title, other than?
Just the imagery of a tree, right? I don't know, the thing you're always looking at is the branches and the leaves and the tree that's above the ground, but what really keeps it there is the roots, right? What keeps us alive is that we can be rooted in our values and keep going, even though the world we live in is very much against people working for changes in our society.
It seems like activism, I was just going through the website, is kind of an important part of this. What do you think would make students more aware and involved in the community and in their future, really?
I think changes in the education system from the ground up.
Being aware that the issues affect them, you know.
Yeah.
Being aware that you are a part of a political system, and that you are a part of oppressions that you might not even recognize. And that social change is not this crazy, difficult, radical act, but it just starts small, with small actions, and just changing the way you think and changing the way you interact with people and the way you speak and the way you use your language, I think.
Why should students or others come to see Rooted?
Because it's going to be fun. It's totally, we wrote this musical for Laurier students.
Yep.
You know, they will relate to it totally. And it goes through the arc of a university year, and it's a lot of fun, and brings up a lot of the questions that I think we ask ourselves as students.
Okay. Where and when is the show, and where can you get tickets?
The show is
It's January 8th and 9th at the Maureen Forrester Recital Hall on Laurier's campus. You can buy tickets in the C Spot or at Seven Shores Cafe on Regina Street.
for $10.
$10, yeah.
Okay.
One weekend only.
Mhm.